I find it curious, and I appreciate the chairman and the ranking member for holding this hearing today, but how some of my colleagues gloss over the fact that taxpayers were on the hook for billions and billions of dollars in soft-sided facilities to deal with a raging border crisis, which we have now reversed course on over the last 4 years. We are fixing the problems that were created by the previous administration. I want to thank our witnesses for being here today. I'm sorry we have to have this hearing. I wish we weren't in the unfortunate situation of entering another potential government shutdown and putting thousands of good people who are working for your agencies at risk and their lives and their livelihoods. Yolanda, thank you for traveling here. It's nice to see you, and I fly through the airport. CID is my home turf, and I appreciate the great work that you and your entire team have done. You're so professional. You've been assaulted personally. You have caught terrible things coming through security. You're keeping us all safe. So I want to say thank you to the men and women you work with for all of that steadfast support you've provided, even in the uncertainty of what is happening here. It's a real travesty in my mind. Again, under President Trump, we have seen a complete reversal of the dangerous situation at our southern border, the illegal immigration crisis. Our border is closed. Those soft-sided facilities that were a suck on taxpayers to the tune of billions of dollars a year are closed. We're having the lowest number of encounters in decades. We're also seeing how, though, bad actors continue to pop up even with a closed southern border, whether it be on our coasts, our ports of entry, or at our airports. So from the Coast Guard to TSA to CISA, these officers are showing up at work, our Secret Service agents, our FEMA employees. Every single day they're showing up at work to do this job while going unpaid for weeks on end. And I'm sure there's incredible unease and uncertainty amongst your staff as we head into Friday. And for that, I am sorry. We are trying to fix this problem here today. So, Ms. McNeil, I just want to talk first about TSA. We've already touched on some of the impacts to the workforce and some of the means that people are trying to feed their families by seeking out other employment opportunities to make those ends meet. Can you talk a little bit about what this means for not only morale for your workforce, but for potential recruitment? Because we have an aging workforce in many places. We have to have other people coming into the pipeline. What does this mean for that?
Thank you, Congresswoman. As I stated earlier, we are seeing a higher attrition rate in the October to November time period last year as compared to that same time period the year before, a 25% increase. So that is a significant impact on our workforce. We do hear regularly, I do in my conversations with the frontline workforce, as does my TSA leadership, about the strain that this poses on them and how it is that they can go home and justify staying in a job where they might not be paid for 6 weeks. They have families to care for. Just yesterday, we were talking with the officers who are sitting behind me, and one of them mentioned that a passenger came through the airport and shared with him that they had been considering joining the TSA, but could not make that decision because of the uncertainties in budgeting for the agency.
So it is affecting recruitment as we speak, that uncertainty. You talk about the impact on our national security posture. You said, that the government shuts down, cyber threats do not. That was a line that I will certainly take away from this hearing. And with the rise of China's use of cyber warfare, obviously CISA is just an incredible part of our firewall, such a key force in being able to keep our networks and the connected infrastructure safe. So can you describe the impact of a shutdown on your operations and the ability to maintain those routine cybersecurity measures that we rely on not only at the federal level, but with our state and local partners like in Iowa?
Yeah, Congresswoman, thank you. I think, like I said before, our activities will be strictly limited to protecting life and property. But we will do everything we can to meet the mission during a shutdown. We will have about 35 to 40% of our staff, about 900 people who will be working without pay. And uncertainty and those missed paychecks are a serious hardship. We have a dedicated and amazing staff that works 24/7 and obstructing some of those nation-state adversities that we have. These impacts are not something that we take lightly, and the longer a shutdown drags the less sustainable it becomes for our dedicated employees and their families.
Certainly a great impact there. And then I want to move to FEMA because in Iowa we have a lot of severe weather. We have seen firsthand. We had the costliest thunderstorm in U.S. history come through about 6 years ago, a derecho, $11 billion in damage. And we just got out of this 43-day government shutdown 3 months ago. How long, Mr. Phillips, does it take FEMA to recover from a government shutdown? And are you still working your way out of the last one? Can you expand on that a little?
Yes, ma'am. We are, in fact, still working our way out of the last one. The challenge for us is not just on an ongoing basis, especially during recovery. So as we're helping your state recover from the big storm, the big things that happen, and it's recovery that is really hurt. Emergencies and response, so when it's really going down and we show up and our teams show up and we partner with the states, we support the states, that will continue. But the challenge is, especially as it relates to the DRF and money and how we process, it's the processing of that going forward that's really going to be hurt. And so I believe that the most important thing as it relates to the lapse from our perspective is not our ability to respond in the emergency, it's our ability to adequately support the states during recovery. With that said, ma'am, I've heard a lot about President Trump and Secretary Noem today. This is not the secretary that I met during the winter storm. This is a secretary who showed up. She was there with us sometimes through the night. She stayed, she worked with us, she cared about people. She and I had a conversation about leading with your heart, doing good, and helping people. And that's the Secretary Noem that I know, and I'm not sure, where the rest of this is coming from, but I've had the great fortune in my career to work for a lot of great leaders. Secretary Noem is a great leader, and I have no way to associate some of the comments I've heard with Secretary Noem.
Well, thank you very much for all of your service. You're doing a great job leading through a very tumultuous time, and I appreciate it. Thank you for answering our questions today. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.